3 games left in the regular season for the Liberty, and their next contest comes on Sunday when they host a team that is right behind them in the standings. That would be the Minnesota Lynx. Now, the Liberty, they are looking to clinch the top seed in the upcoming WNBA playoffs, and their magic number to do so is 1. So let's talk some Liberty hoops with a writer who covers the Liberty for Winsidr. The one and only Candace Pedraza joins me now. Ace, what's going on?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Getting excited as we are coming to a close of this WNBA season. And Ace, including the Commissioner's Cup final, the Lynx have won 2 of the 3 earlier matchups this season against the Liberty. And when you look at this Minnesota team, who has the second best record in the league, what makes them so good in your eyes? And do you think they are the biggest threat to the Liberty winning a championship in 2024?
Yeah, I definitely feel like Minnesota is the team that is going to be matched up with the Liberty, if any team will be matched up with the Liberty in the finals, and that's assuming New York gets there. Just because, A, they have Defisa Collier, first of all, in their front court. Defisa Collier is maybe the one player that you could have thrown in the conversation for maybe winning MVP over A'ja Wilson maybe a couple of weeks ago, and that's saying a lot because A'ja Wilson's having the single best season of any player in the league in history. So the fact that Defisa Collier is in that conversation says a lot for her as well. And so with Minnesota leading, with Defisa Collier leading Minnesota, you have already just a threat from her in terms of her ability to be such a 3-level scorer at any point during the game. And so that's been a huge part of why Minnesota has been so successful. In addition to her, though, I think just the fact that everyone around her is such a threat as well. You can't just commit to defending her on the court because you have players like Kayla McBride who can definitely shoot it from deep, as we've seen all season long. You have Bridget Carlton, who has been really stepping up from 3-point range as well. And you have Courtney Williams, who is just an absolute bucket on the floor. And so you have players aside from Defisa Collier who can step up at any given moment, which I think sounds very familiar to Liberty fans because I feel like that's how New York has played so well this season. And so for that reason, I think that that's why Minnesota is such a big threat to New York. They have the depth like they do, they have the shooting like they do, and they have the defense like they do, and they have the star power. And so it's going to just,
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Ace. It's just a lot of game recognizes game there. There's a lot of similarities between the two clubs. But no, go ahead and finish your point. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's a lot of that, as you said, and I think it's literally going to come down to just who's able to get a stop in clutch moments, who's going to be able to get a bucket in those clutch moments. It's going to be a bit of a fight, I think, between these two teams, and I'd be really excited to see them in the postseason and just get more than just, these one-off games throughout the regular season as we've gotten.
Absolutely. It would be exciting to see them face off. Could happen in the finals. We'll get to that in a second. Now, in a video posted by the Liberty on social media, Sabrina Ionescu called Sunday's game against the Lynx a statement game. New York comes into this game riding a 5-game winning streak. Minnesota, they've won 4 in a row. Do you agree that this is a statement game for the Liberty here?
I think so, yes. Just in the way that, the Liberty have been, I think, trying to show that they're a different team than they were last season. And so being able to maybe respond to how well Minnesota's played them throughout this regular season with a win to close out the season series with the team would be a huge statement because they're able to say, we were able to make adjustments. We were able to still compete and contend with this team despite dealing with, I think, a bit of an uncharacteristic loss, especially in that Commissioner's Cup game where you saw the Liberty turning the ball over a ton and you saw Minnesota able to capitalize off of that. And so I think it's a statement game just in the sense that the Liberty are going to want to be able to show Minnesota, hey, we're able to adjust and we're able to contend with you and able to play on your same elite level. And so it will be a lot of fun, especially because it's a statement from the perspective of it's a playoff preview potentially as well. And so being able to say that they won their last game against them headed into a potential postseason series would be huge as well.
Absolutely would be huge. And you mentioned it here, Ace. This could very well be a playoff preview, a WNBA Finals preview. And with a win, the Liberty could lock up the top seed in the playoffs. So what are the keys to the Liberty coming out on top and knocking off the Lynx at home on Sunday?
Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to rebounding as it always does, and just being able to keep up with Minnesota's 3-point shooting. As I mentioned earlier, I feel like Minnesota's biggest strength has been their ability to find scoring outside of Napisa Collier. And so being able to keep pace with players like Courtney Williams, like Kayla McBride, will be huge for New York's success. And I think they're going to be able to do that, especially with the Delaney Hamilton looking back to form as she was at the beginning of the season, and with Sabrina Ionescu finally looking back to comfortability after that injury that she had suffered, and she looked a little bit off, especially from three-point range. And then, of course, the contributions, as usual, from Jonquel Jones and from Vanna Stewart will be huge as well to keep up with such a potent offense that Minnesota offers. In addition to that, the rebounding is going to be huge, because I think that in most close games that New York has played this season, but especially in their games with Minnesota, they've won the rebounding battle when they've won those games. And so just being able to maintain that level of force on the boards and being able to limit the number of second chance opportunities that maybe Minnesota gets, or limit the number of chances Minnesota gets to get out in transition and really burn New York on the other end of the floor, will be really key here. And it's easier said than done, because Minnesota's length is a scary thing, and it's something that definitely throws New York off more than I think any other team in the league this season.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. At that Commissioner's Cup game, the Liberty gave up a ton of second chance points. You also mentioned they didn't take the care of the ball, in that game against the Lynx. So we'll see if they can do that on Sunday and see if they've made those adjustments as they head into the postseason. That is Candace Pedraza. Check out her work with Winsidr. She does a great job covering the New York Liberty. Ace, I know you're getting postseason ready. I'm doing the same. We will talk more about some Liberty hoops soon.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.